don't know, man. It's getting there.
You'd be surprised, dude.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You walk out there.
Especially, there's some beasts out there.
Yeah.
But
give you some inspiration.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah, man, it was actually like the fittest. It wasn't, again, I'm not like a great CrossFitter by any means, you know.
I don't know, dude. I've seen some of your open stuff. Like
I would say, like, for someone who like competes, I'm pretty average. You know, like we've got some dogs here.
That's still like
I try my best.
That's still like of the general population. Like you and I would be in that 1%, and you're like in that one of 1%. Then
no.
Yeah, in the general population.
We always look at like our percentages and whatnot from the open, and I remember that's like what kind of kicked me into the competitive spirit in a way, was doing the open. It was actually my second year doing CrossFit. That was the first year I like signed up for the open and could see like my scores and my ranks and whatnot. And I like did a workout where you had to like be top 10% to qualify for quarterfinals.
Okay.
All right. And the first workout, I think I was like, had all these expectations. I think I can do top 10. I can do top 10%.
Well, it's tough because each workout always has like its strengths and weaknesses, and like some of them people can kill it. It's very difficult to do well in all of them because I've had ones where it's like you're in that 10%, and then I've had ones where it's like I can't even do that.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where like the first workout was just a huge weakness workout.
Pulls out your weaknesses.
Yeah. And it was just eye-opening, dude. It was so humbling. I think it was the first year they did wall walks. So if you've never seen a wall walk, it's basically you start off on your chest.
I did that one. Yeah.
Right?
The jump rope with wall walks.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I did that one.
So you know,
actually did decent at that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got like I think my percentage was like 72nd.
Yeah.
Percent. And at that point, you only have 2 more workouts to try to get into the top 90th overall, or the top 10% overall. And so I'm like,
because that one had box jumps with single dumbbell. That was that same open.
It was the same open. Yeah,
it was the same
repeat.
Open. Yep.
And it was like
single arm snatches, single arm dumbbell snatches.
Ascending rep scheme. Yeah. Like, was it 20, 30, 40, 50?
Yeah, something like that.
Of dumbbell snatches with 15 burpee box jumps.
Yep. Yeah.
That workout to this day, probably the most pain I've ever been in my life.
Same. Yep.
Probably the most pain I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, like the longest I've ever laid on the ground after doing something.
I did decent. I don't remember exactly what my percentage was, but I did pretty. Like I did better than I thought I was going to.
And I think everybody left that with their back was messed up. Like there was a lot of people like
seriously,
it's legit.
Had to roll it out afterward. Yeah. For the next couple of days, you kind of didn't do a whole lot.
No.
I know some people try to repeat that workout. Yeah. And just I watched people like try to get through the first round and just stop because they couldn't.
No, not a good idea.
The only reason I did well on that workout was because I did it in a heat with Scott.
It does matter who's around you too. Like that changes things. It's just like in athletics, like somebody's running next to you, like you're gonna go a little
exactly.
faster.
That competitive edge kind of pushes you a little bit. And Scott,
that's the tough thing for me is every day working out alone.
Yeah. It's brutal. It's a whole another mental aspect to it, right? Trying to push through those, barriers of like, all right, I probably could go a little harder. Yeah. But it'd be so much easier just to like take a quick break. Yeah. But if you have someone beside you, kind of edging you on, pushing you a little bit.
For sure.
Scott, when that workout originally came out, I think it was 17.1. He won the workout worldwide.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he had high expectations. And I remember when he got to the final like burpee box jump over, everyone started yelling. Yeah. And at that point I was like down. Like I was feeling like just dropping the dumbbell, not taking a huge break. Yeah. I heard everyone else, and I knew he was on his last burpee box jump overs.
Dude, he was a beast at that.
That got me going too. I was like, oh, okay, let's go.
I've never seen somebody pound for pound just. He's not a very big guy. No. And just moves ridiculous way. Yeah. It's absurd. But okay, so you get through PA school, you've been balancing everything. Yeah. Now you're on the other side of it. You're gonna do a fellowship.
Yeah.
What does that fellowship look like?
Yeah, so
high octane stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. It's gonna be interesting for sure, to say the least. Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing trauma and acute care with Ohio Health. So we're gonna rotate through all the different ICUs, neuro, surgical, different cardiac units. I think reduce heart failure, cardiac ICU stuff, and obviously trauma.
Yeah.
So again, that's going to be Ohio Health, Riverside, Grant, which Grant is like one of the probably busiest.
Like I said,
centers.
I told you, I already warned you when you told me about it. I was like, dude, I have still, to this day, the things I saw in Grant Medical Center's trauma bay in the middle of the night, I have not seen since. There's some crazy stuff that rolls through there.
Yeah.
Because it serves such a, Columbus is right in the center of the state, serves such a wide radius around it.
Yeah.
There's stuff coming from all over the place. And then, like Ohio State's level 1, they don't see the same stuff. And then Riverside, they're trying to, I think, bump their trauma rating too. So they're starting to get.
Yep.
I mean, Columbus is just awesome and it's booming. So, you're going to see some stuff there, man.
Yeah. I mean, I decided to do that just because I thought I was going to be an outpatient provider. Like that going into it, I was like, I know I like ortho. I know I'm interested in that. It's kind of my background. And then going through rotations, I had a great orthopedic rotation at the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
Loved it. Had a great preceptor.
Shout out Dr. Malloy.
Dr. Malloy.
Yeah. Bob.
Bill.
Or Bill. Sorry. Yeah. Bill Najat.
They were awesome.
The GOAT.
Taught me a lot. Gave me opportunities to grow. Challenged me, which you just got to respect, Any time that you can be put in uncomfortable positions is where you're going to grow the most.
Yeah.
And I've had rotations where that wasn't the case. It was just kind of like, all right, you can come with me and observe. Well, no, they gave me the opportunities to be involved in surgery.
And we saw each other at work.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, I was go walking through the core. I'm like, oh, hey, well, what's up?
I remember literally pretty early on in my rotation too. I had never been in surgery before either.
Yeah.
So that was totally new for me. I remember Bill was first day, he's like, so you ever been in surgery before?
You ever scrubbed?
I was like, no. We practiced it, but I've never actually done it. He's like, so you've done it? And I'm like, no.
No.
Not actually,
No.
Not real life. So he's like, oh. Okay, well, don't touch anything.
Yeah, I was just saying, knowing Bill,
that was like
Bill's shitting his pants if you told him that, because Bill is like,
right.
In his head, he's like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm just not trying to, mess
just don't
up.
mess anything up.
Yeah. But it was really good. I liked, again, knew I was going to like it, still liked it, had a great experience, but I realized more the family medicine setting was a little bit monotonous, in the day-to-day. And that was my family medicine was for my first rotation. I learned that real quick.
So did I.
Man.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought potentially I was going to,
the building relationships part is great.
Yes, 100%.
But once you realize that you can build relationships in other specialties, plus do other stuff, and that's not to take anything away from anyone, physician assistant, and nurse practitioner, anyone who does family medicine or family medicine adjacent things, you have to. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to do it, and God bless them, but I could not do it because it just would not stimulate, me the way that surgery and having that balance. Because I think people also don't realize, if you get into trauma or you get into orthopedics, there is a clinical aspect to that. You have to do some clinic.
Yeah.
And so you still get to have that relationship with people, but you're not stuck there every single day doing this.
You mix it up a little bit, and
I need variety.
Ortho and
for sure.
I learned during my internal medicine rotation that I liked kind of that acuity and the problem solving that comes with being in the hospital.
Yeah.
Someone is coming in sick. There's something wrong, and you may not know what it is right away. Mm-hmm. Or you do know what it is right away, and you have to correct that or keep in mind what else could be going on. Mm-hmm. So, again, that, intense kind of right now scenario was what I was looking for. When I found out I was more interested in.
Yeah.
And it was challenging because, again, I've worked in the hospital as a tech, but it's completely different trying to be a provider in those situations. So again, internal medicine, challenge, but still loved it. Ortho, got challenged, loved it. Did a heart failure rotation, and that was primarily outpatient. So again, I learned, reiterating that I didn't want to be outpatient. I got to spend a week with inpatient heart failure, and it was that same thing. It was all right, what's going on? How do we fix this?
Yep.
Diuretics, What other medications are they on? What's the whole picture?
Yeah, there's some problem solving to it.
Yeah. So after all that, I'm like, all right, time to find a job. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
All right. Like, what am I going to do for the next 4 or 5 years or so?
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I could use more experience in the hospital.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair. I think that's the one thing I always feel bad to some degree is, like, we talk about this as physicians. So, you've got the two routes. And I think a lot of people going into medicine, this is a good talk for anyone who's interested or is listening for that reason. Mm-hmm. Physician, you go through undergrad. Physician assistant, you go through undergrad, right? You apply to your specialty or your specialization school, whether that be medical school or physician's assistants, programs, and a master's in, being a PA. You got 4 years of medical school. You got 2 years of PA school. 1 year classroom, 1 year clinical, 2 years in the classroom, 2 years of clinical, right? Yeah. Then you're just expected to, in some situations, these physician assistants, you're like thrust in the workforce.
Yeah.
That's 2 years thrust in the workforce. Yeah. And in some cases, you're given a lot of responsibility. Like, you always are going to, whether you're in the ER, whether you're in the clinic as a family medicine provider or something, you're going to have some oversight and some, fail-safe or safety net. Yeah. But then we go on and we do another 3 to 5 years of specialization in a residency. So I've always thought, not a bad idea to go get a fellowship after doing PA school, right? Yeah. Because the nice thing is, at least for you, is like you can then go and specialize. For us, it's like we do that residency. We are super specialized. We have no other options. And then you can go subspecialize from there. But like, you just look at how much longer the path is. Right. It makes a ton of sense for you to want to get some more specialization, or at least feel a little more well prepared before somebody's trusting you with their life. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So. And I know, like, there was job postings for like ICUs in Columbus and whatnot, that, like, looking at it, I was like, well, I
could learn on the job.
Care. Like, I could apply to it. I could start, in just hopes that they give me the proper training. Yeah. But you hear all the time, like, I think this applies to almost any career. Yeah. Right, is like the situation, right? And I think when we're talking, I'm going to hold you to having a job for me one day.
You have a job. You have a job.
Part of the reason, like, we just think we would work well together, right? But you hear these horror stories about people, PAs, NPs going into the workforce, after a shorter training period, and they're just kind of thrown into it. Yeah. And
or if you do get with a surgeon, like, say, for anybody looking at this, I've told you and other, people in that PA space, is like, if you're a mid provider, an APP, an advanced practicing provider of any sort, whatever it is, if you get with a surgeon and that surgeon can be a jerk, like, there is a lot of surgeons out there who, I see it, like, they're under a lot of pressure. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Everybody's personality is different. Like, it's tough to work with someone if they're treating you like you're just below them and they're not working with you. You work for them. Like, there's working with and there's working for. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, if you get in a situation where you feel like you're always just working for somebody, that sucks. Yeah. And so for you, like, I think that's so smart to just get a little extra training and have that
extra training. Yeah, have it on my belt. A variety of experiences in the hospital. Yep. And take that moving forward. I kind of plan on doing this for, the next couple of years or so, and seeing what happens after that.
3 years, and then when I'm done,
we're setting the groundwork.
I got 2 years, a fellowship, and then when I'm done.
Yeah, I think that it'd be a good time.
Yeah, it would be.
I think we'd work well together, and we could really help people in a lot of ways. And going back to why I chose the fellowship, it kind of gives me that full spectrum of, hey, I saw people at their sickest. Yep. Right. And I can speak from experience what that looks like, and my background can potentially help prevent that.
Absolutely.
So my whole goal in going to PA school was really to be well-rounded. Yeah. I think that that's what I aspire to be in my life. How I approach every day is to just go into it being able to kind of, do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, jack of all trades, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm the same way. I think we're really we have a lot of commonality in that we have that ability. It's like, I think too, why people, might listen or want to listen to is just to hear like, how do we balance? And so I think they've heard everything to this point. In each respective situation, I guess we could just talk about like what are some little habits or day-to-day things that we do to just balance all of the craziness. Because at times, like, it is hectic. For you, you're in a relationship now. Yeah. Like, you're balancing that. You're still coaching here. Now you're going to go do this fellowship. Along the way, you were studying, cramming all of this. You're drinking through a fire hose, right? Yeah. Like, you did it for 2 years. Yeah. You're just expected to learn all of them, this mass amount of information, and still keep your health, right? And still keep your family close. And so what are some things that have helped you with all that?
Well, like you said, I'm in a relationship now, so shout out to my girlfriend, Lauren.
Shout out,
Lauren. Part of it is like the support system. Yeah. Right? Having the right people around you to support you through whatever it is you're going through. So that's huge in one. Like, she's very understanding of when times get hard or when things are busy for me. And other than the support system, I think trying to do your best to just build habits and routines. Yeah. Routines, I think, are super helpful. And once you can form like either a daily or every couple day routine, it just makes life so much easier for you, especially when you're busy, you're trying to balance a bunch of things. I think the mentality is what is most important or like vital to being successful in that. One of my professors, when we first started PA school, gave us this like kind of metaphor. It was like, say you have this gallon bucket and it's filled with a gallon of water, and you have X amount of smaller buckets, right? One is your family, one's your social life, one's your academic life, one's your health and well-being, whatever it is. You can pick however many buckets you want, but you still have a gallon of water. You have to disperse.
It's the truth, man.
Right? In each one of those buckets. Sometimes you can fill it all. You can fill your entire family bucket with that water. Yeah. Sometimes you have to give a little sprinkle of water to each bucket. Yep. So
we all have the same 24/7, 365, man. That's how you use it.
Yep. And sometimes you just got to adjust. Yeah.
And I've talked to people about this too, where, like the high-speed, low drag, the whole mantra and everything, like hustled. It's not to say like I live every second of my life like it's planned out for me. It's like you pick various times that you have to be exceptionally efficient, okay? And if you're just in a routine, like you said, very efficient in your day-to-day mundane tasks, whatever that may be, then you can sit there and you can then have these times that are afforded to you where you've got all the business done, all the important stuff done, and you can decompress and spend that time with family or going out with friends. Like, it's not to say that you're never doing any of that stuff. It's like you're so highly efficient during all these other times in your life that it allows you to succeed and achieve a lot of stuff while also having balance to do all this fun stuff, right? It's the ultimate lifestyle balance.
There's like a saying, I can't remember. It's from a book of some sort. Where it's like, whatever you're doing, basically you have both feet in. Yeah. Right. Yep. So if you're at work, you're working. Yep. And that's what you're focused on. That way, when you can go home to your family, you can go to the gym. Right. Yep. Now you're both feet in that environment.
That's something my dad is. I will credit, of all the lessons I've learned from my dad, his ability to go, be under incredible stress every day, give himself to every patient, talk to all of them like they're his own family, operate and take care of 6-7 patients a day in the operating room. Whatever stressors or problems or complications, frankly, might happen throughout the day, and then he still comes home at night, and he can be with his wife and 4 kids, whoever's home at the time, 3 or 4 kids, whatever, and still be completely present. Like, obviously he's going to slip up sometimes. Like, there's not, you can't possibly clear all of the stress out of your head. but his ability to separate those two things and leave work at work and have time for his family and never miss anything was, I think, just being a role model. And so, like, if you can be a role model for other people, it's, you know, going to be exceptional. So, I think in a life in medicine too, and you've kind of talked about it a little bit, I think, too, people you've had, mentors, like the professor and everything. Somebody who gave me a good one that I've always carried with me is, like, Tim Rose, my linebackers coach in college, for all the bad things he might have said to me and all the mean things he may have said, questioning my manhood. He did say, you know, you have to be a dealer in hope.
Okay.
Right? And so for me, in what I do, I think about that often. It's like, how do you stay so positive? It's like, I'm the surgeon, I'm the resident, or I'm now getting to be a senior resident, right? I'm moving my way up the ranks, and it's like, I know what all of these guys behind me, guys and girls, are going through. It's like, it does me no good to be negative, right?
Right.
That is just going to perpetuate, and it's going to make them, if there's a negative environment in front of them, it's going to create a negative environment for them. So you, no matter what everybody else might be saying, like, if every day I wake up and I plan on going in and being a dealer in hope, a dealer of positivity, then they can choose to be negative if they want, but it's really tough when their leader, so to speak, is being
setting
positive.
the tone, right?
Yep. So just in every phase of life, be a dealer in hope.
I like that a lot. I've actually never heard that before. But I mean,
same thing in the OR. When something bad happens, everybody else might be freaking out. It's like, it's going to be okay.
What I say is, you know, there's a way to approach every situation. Right. You know, whether it's good or bad. You know, it's how you respond. Right. And you can take a negative approach. But, you know, why do that when it's just going to bring everyone else? It's not truly helping the situation. So I like that a lot. Be a dealer in hope.
There's been some good ones from everybody, but, like, Tim Rose, for all the crazy stuff he said to me, that was something he would preach to us. You know, we'd come into camp, we'd come into meetings, and as the middle linebacker, right? He was saying for the rest of the defense, like, when they're driving down the field and it looks like they're going to score, like, you got to be a dealer in hope. Like a dealer in hope that to everybody else, backs against the wall, we're going to make a stop. Right? So,
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Man.
I mean, you know, going back to, like, the routines and whatnot, and kind of giving it your all with what you're doing. It's like, no one's perfect. Like you said, you know,
absolutely not.
No one's perfect, and you have your highs and your lows. You know, and I experienced that a lot through my clinicals or time in PA school. Like, there was times, like, I got my fittest probably my first semester of PA school. And there was a lot of lessons in balancing with that too.
Absolutely.
Right? And then there was times in my clinical year where, like, January was a rough month for me in terms of fitness. Right? When I stayed with you, it was great. It was easy because I could just jump out to the garage.
Go out to the garage.
Just, you know, do what I needed to do.
You saw the benefits of, but again, you're doing it alone.
It's doing it alone. And it's hard. But then January came around, and I think that was my pediatrics rotation in an emergency room in Cleveland. I was staying with my good friend Kevin from college, and I was just, like, so focused on, like, trying to do well in that rotation. And, you know, studying outside the rotation. The weather didn't help because we got hit with, like, some crazy storms up there at that time. And I was broke too, so it wasn't like dropping in the gyms can get expensive too. So, like, there was a lot of factors where, like, I'm like, working out was hard in that month. You know, and mentally that can wear on you too, to the point where, like, man, it's hard to get back into it. You know, so
I think a routine is critical, but obviously if you have a career in medicine, like, you're always giving yourself to other people, right? Like, that's what we do. You sacrifice for others. And so it's like, inevitably at some point, your routine, doesn't matter what you want to do, doesn't matter what you had planned to do. That person still comes through the trauma bay, or that person still has a complication from a surgery, and they call you and they're like, hey, my wound is having an issue, right? Like, so you're always kind of on the hook. So you might have thought, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym right now, but you can't. So, you know, for me, I know working out in the morning has always been good for me. I know everybody has a different routine, but there's a lot of benefits to that, because it's like, I know that's the only time in my day. Probably the best chance of me having that time to myself, unequivocal, alone time, where it's up to me. It's either I decide, make that conscious decision that I'm going to get this done right now, or it's not going to happen. And like, I might be dog tired, dead tired by the end of the day, but you're kind of like building on that natural circadian rhythm of you're already at your most alert, right? Like, just take it to the next level and get as much positive benefit from that as you can.
For sure.
Right. So unfortunately, I think it doesn't always happen that way, but
not always, and you gotta give yourself some grace in that too. Like, you do what you can. Ultimately, I think a lot of people get that. People who have families and jobs. Like, my thing, I always tell people, just sometimes you just gotta get what you can. And don't let a little bit one bad day, deter you from coming back tomorrow. It's hard getting back into it, like I said earlier, but it gets worse the more you put it off. That's for sure. You take like a week, 2 weeks off. Well, if you take 6 months off,
I was
it's just completely different.
I had like a whole month at one point where it was essentially a month and a half, 2 months, and I started noticing like little nagging things coming out when I started to get back into it too. So it's like maintenance is huge too. Not skipping the little things or cutting corners. But and then I know I don't know if you run into this, but like, oh, you're always eating. It's like, you can look at that as two ways. Like, if you're overeating and you're not working out, that can be very bad.
That can be very bad.
If you're undernourishing yourself, you're inevitably going to run out of gas. Right? If you're only caffeine and you're not taking in anything that's good for you, by the end of the day, what do you expect to be running off of? Right?
You're literally going to crash.
So in order for me to be at my best throughout the day for patients or whoever it may be, right, or to take care of my tasks as a resident, it's like, I have to always be at my sharpest. And so you figure out throughout life and like kind of some self-testing, right? Like what things work. And it's like, when things don't work, don't do those things. And it's like, I think there's a lot of people that don't have that self-reflection. It's like, so don't do that stuff throughout the day. That's going to make you crash. And you have a responsibility.
I'm laughing because, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. This summer, I've definitely started ramping up my training a little bit more again, because I've had the time to, and I'm literally hungry all the time. I'll eat a full meal, and in like an hour, be ready to eat again. And even during school, like, my professors would call me out
and just laugh at you
because I'd be in the middle of a lecture and I would just pull something out, and I'm like, and she'd be like mid-sentence, she'd look over and be like, oh, Will's eating again. Just call me out in front of the entire class. And it was just funny. I'd have like a bag, literally, not the best thing for you, but just a bag of sour gummy worms. To give me like literally like quick,
just
quick
a little
energy.
sugar, a little sugar.
Just a little, and all the time. I ate a meal. I was with my girlfriend, ate a meal, and I looked at her like, as soon as I started eating, I'm like, I'm gonna be hungry in like an hour. I had to go get Chick-fil-A.
Dude, and so that's the thing. It's like, you just gotta give your body what it needs. But you have a responsibility.
Hot, dude. When it's hot,
that too.
Like,
1,
gotta hydrate. 2, gotta feel your body, because you walk in here and
first thing I do in the morning too is just chug water.
Are you the type of person, do you have to eat before you work out in the morning?
No.
Or do you kind of?
I just go empty stomach.
I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I get so lightheaded if I don't.
I feel like it's something you have to get used to. You have to program. And so that's why like the rebounding gets tough. If you're like working out in the evening, working out in the morning, rebound. Your body's got to get used to one way or the other. Like, obviously to some degree, I have to do one and I have to do both. But no, you have to like acclimate to that for sure.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. Even like football workouts in high school. Like 7 a.m. workouts. Like, I'd have to eat something.
My problem is if I work out at night, I know I'm going to be awake. So like, if I know I'm on call, I will do an evening workout.
Okay.
Because if I can find that like 3 or 4 o'clock, if it's slow enough, okay, I've been working all morning and day or middle of the day, I figured out like, okay, 3 to like 6, if I can sneak something in to field some calls while that's happening, I can like get the juices flowing again, kind of clear my head, and then I'm more productive then when things start rolling in at say 9 o'clock.
Yeah, kind of keeps you.
Yeah, and if I time it right, and, the caffeine's on board, you get to midnight or 1 o'clock and you're wrapping up your work, and you can still maybe sneak in a little bit of sleep.
Yeah.
Because then you're starting to crash and come down off of it. But if it's just a normal week, I don't have a call shift anywhere around it, right? It's morning workout, go all day, be dead tired at the end of the day, and get a good night's sleep.
Gotcha.
Because if I come home at 5 or 6 o'clock, and there's no guarantee when I'm going to be done.
Yeah.
So it's like if I come home at 5 or 6 o'clock, I crank out an hour and a half or something, caffeine, full 9 yards, I'm going to be up till 1 o'clock. Right. And then I'm going to have to get up at 4 or 5 the next day anyway.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So that just is a rough cycle at that point.
Exactly.
That was my next question, actually, was going to be if you were able to work out at night.
Yeah, I can do it. But it's only in certain circumstances.
How are you with night shift when you're working nights?
So we don't have just a strict night shift. We have this. It's always this rebounding. Yeah. Like I'll have 5 or 6 days, maybe if I get lucky, in a row where I don't have any. But I've had stretches where it's like I had a stretch a couple of months ago. As a third year, you do less than you do as a second year. So this doesn't happen as much, but as a third year, I was like every three nights for 21 days. I think I had 7 call shifts, something like that. So that averages out to every 3 nights.
Yeah. So I just remember when I stayed with you up in Cleveland for my first time up there in June of last year.
Well, that's when I was on Hillcrest. So I wasn't around. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So if anyone has questions about PA school or, fitness, whatever it is.
Yeah, just don't show up in the trauma bag because this guy may.
Yeah, I don't want to see you at work.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, if you're seeing me at work, it's usually one of your worst days. So, yeah.
Well, again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yep.